Hi, my name is Aimee Benefield from faithfulpreparedness.com. I am doing the first part of a series of using natural yeast. This is actually using our starter flakes. This is actually a really large starter flake. You don't need even half that much. Yeah, literally a pinch of yeast to maybe a tablespoon at the most is all you need of starter flakes to start your yeast. And I use a big jar. You can use a smaller jar. A lot of people will use like a quart-size jar. This is a 2-quart jar. I have a big family, so that's why I use a bigger jar. Take your yeast, just break it up in little pieces. If it already is in broken pieces, perfect. If not, that's okay. Just break it up and drop it in. You might be asking yourself, where do I get yeast flakes in the first place? I was going to be at that class. I was going to bring them with me. So if you really want some, just you can email me at faithfulpreparedness@gmail.com, and just send me your address and I'll send you some flakes. Anyways, it's really easy. So you just throw that in there. Then you add 1/4 cup of water. Okay. And then I have a rather large, long spoon, just so it can reach the bottom of my jar, and that's really loud, and I apologize. So you want to just kind of stir that a little, kind of crunch it up a little bit. Mostly you just want to let it set in there for a little bit to dissolve it, and you want to get it all dissolved. So that water will turn kind of cloudy, and the yeast will be in it. So that takes a little bit of time. Once you have done that, once it's kind of dissolved in there, you're going to add 1/4 cup of wheat flour. So this is ground wheat flour, and you'll just dump that in, mix it up, and then you're going to put cheesecloth on the top. Yeah, bring it in. Good idea. So you put cheesecloth on the top like that. That just allows it to breathe. Your yeast has to breathe, so don't forget to put your cheesecloth on there. The cloth just keeps it from getting anything in there, or fun little critters or whatever. So anyways, you can close that with a jar lid and then just leave it on the counter. It'll take probably 2 to 4 days. So of just, once you've added your flour in, of just leaving it alone. Don't touch it, don't stir it, just let it alone for 2 to 4 days. And after about 2 to 4 days, you'll notice it's starting to bubble. That's a good sign. Once it starts to do that and starts to get kind of frothy and bubbly, it's ready to start feeding and using it pretty soon. So when it does the bubbly stuff after 2 to 4 days, you will feed it equal parts, 1/2 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of water, mix it up real good, and then let it go again. Let it bubble up and get all fun. And actually, it'll look something similar to this little guy. This is a real one that's been going, meaning it's fully functional. We actually named this one Hope. So it's going to look like this after you have fed it the second time. The first time it'll start to kind of look like this, only it's a small little thing in the bottom, and then you'll feed it and it should start looking like this. At that point, once it's going strong, you can go ahead and keep it in your refrigerator, and then you feed it usually every 2 to 3 days. You want to feed your yeast start. It's like a pet, so you got to remember that it's a pet. It's a little easier than a pet because you don't have to feed it every single day, unless you're going to be using it every day. But anyways, it's fun and it's not that hard. And if you have questions, a great resource is this woman that did this book, Melissa Richardson. I am not connected with her. I already mentioned that once, but I really just like her book. She's great. You can actually go onto her website. I think it's called breadgeek.com. And she has a lot of information on there, and just free information on how to use your yeast, great recipes, tips on making it work. It can be a little tricky to use yeast, and we'll get more into that in just a minute. So that's the end of our first little clip.